This is the life that we chose.
Blessings, blessings, and more blessings to every single one of you out there. Queen of Bergen here. Okay, you're not gonna tell them your name? They know your name.
They know my name.
Of course.
But if you don't know my name, it's chemistry. How y'all doing out here? It's been a little while since we've been on this couch.
Yeah.
How y'all feeling?
I mean, a solid 7 days in your world.
Yeah.
You
Your
know?
world. Your world.
You know, I mean, I don't know how many hours that is. I can't do math quickly, but you know what I mean? I can't do math that quickly.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
no, a solid 7 days has passed, and it's time for us to have a nice conversation
Yes.
about something that's been tantalizing our minds,
As always.
sitting in our thoughts.
As always.
You know what I mean? We want to have a conversation with you guys about some of the scenarios we've been dealing with this week. I think I had a pretty decent week, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm getting better.
Okay.
I'm getting better, right? And, you know,
can
after,
appreciate that.
that's all you really can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all you really can do. And I think that, you know, as I'm transitioning, as I'm getting into the next phase of my life,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to figure out what's going on, I'm like particularly spending a lot of time trying to identify the relationships in my life that have value, right? The relationships in my life that are progressing me forward, that are helping me get better, and that are also directly impacting my ability to complete the goals that I want in my life, you know? And I think that I really want to bring that topic to the podcast today.
Okay.
And from a few different angles,
Yeah.
right? From a few different angles, I want to bring this topic to the podcast, right?
All right.
You know, I hope all you guys are good. I know, I'm sorry. I was about to go dive right into it. You know what I mean?
yeah. Really quick homework. If you are tuning in, you know, we are live right now. I mean, not live, but, you know, we are on YouTube. We are on all streaming platforms. Be sure to get on those platforms. Give us a 5-star rating if you like the content, if you're resonating with it. If, you know, you want to share it with a friend, feel free to do so. We got these really dope topics, and I feel like, you know, it just opens up the door for other people to be able to hear it. Just wanted to get that homework out there. We got a great topic for y'all, so we could dive right back in.
Absolutely. So let's go. Now, this is the thing. And I'm about to say some stuff in this episode that might... There's a few people that might be a little offended by what I'm about to say. I'm not even going to hold you, but controversy sells. And I'm ready to open shop.
Oh, man.
Okay? I'm ready to open shop. Okay? And this is what I want to... I kind of want to like set the precedence real quick, right? Because I know that when we talk about... when you have a relationship with people and it's like we talk about transactional relationships.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, you're only doing something to get something in return. You know, and there's a lot of negative connotation when people talk about that. Okay. This is the part where I feel like we're not honest with ourselves about. So there may be some people who listen to this and be like, oh, that's how Queen treated me. I'm not really going to mess with her or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But like these transactional relationships, like getting something in return is crucial. Crucial for a relationship. So if you walking around acting like, oh, I'm just doing it for the love or I'm just doing it for whatever without like getting any energy back, you should probably evaluate what you're doing. All right. And this is what I mean by that.
Put that down. Yeah.
This is what I mean by that, right? If you are not useful, you are useless.
Ooh.
Okay? Say that again for the people in the back. If you are not useful, you are useless. Okay? So whenever I'm like, if you're going to start a friendship, if you're going to start a business relationship, right? It's not like, I get the fact that like we're filled with love, you know what I mean? Like we're people who have like compassion and empathy and sympathy for other people.
Yeah.
But like I have, as we talked about in many episodes, a finite amount of time on earth.
Yes.
Right. And in this time on earth, I need to develop relationships, right? Particularly now that I'm in my 30s, because when I was in high school, I was friends with anybody.
Yeah.
And we already know that we have so many friendships from high school that we should have never been in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
we faded out over time, different things. Yeah.
Like even then, I don't know if you ever like meet up with people from high school?
Yeah.
And what are you talking about with these people?
The things that we did in high school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what you're doing. You're like, there's like, you have people who come in, like, you know, those people who are in your life and you're coming back from high school and you're talking about high school. There's not we're not having conversations about growth. We're not having conversations about how are we executing the new things in our life. And it's like when we were young, we chose our friendships based off of our geography. We chose friendships based off of who we were next to.
Yeah.
You know? And as we get into adulthood, now we have to change that mindset and choose friendships that are conducive to the path that we are going to in the future. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm not. So anybody who listens, so I want to. That's why I got. Let me break it. Let me add it.
It's coming in hot.
It's coming in hot because they gonna look at me and they gonna be like, "Oh, Queena, you just you out here just you don't really you know what I mean. You just gonna be friends with somebody just to use them. If you are not useful, you are useless. You know what I mean? Like go ahead.
I just want to break it, just get into that idea a little bit. And I want you to break that down a little more for our listeners too, because I think that there's such a negative connotation around being used. Like the word being used is like, it feels disgusting when we say it or whatever. Like, you just want things from me. I can't just exist in your space, But I just kind of want you to dive into that a little bit more and kind of take back the curtain on some of those negative connotations. Yeah. I think okay, so this is what I'm gonna say.
All right. Okay. Regardless of how I'm about to break this down, there are gonna be people out there who's gonna be like, well, I don't like the idea of that. I don't like the idea of using people to get what I need in life, which is gonna be difficult. It's going to be very difficult for you to survive if you don't use people to get to where you need to go. Yeah. But I think that what we need to differentiate with the idea of using and manipulating. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying for you to I'm going to we're not talking about underhanded. Yeah. We're not talking about shady coercing. You know what I mean? The cloak of the night kind of things or whatever. That's not what I'm referring to. What I'm referring to when you talk about using people is that we need to ask for help. Yeah. Right? And every single person in this world is a unique formula of things. And because of that, they have strengths and weaknesses. I have strengths. Yeah. In some places where you have weaknesses. Yeah. Where it's just why I can come in and help. Yeah. Right? You can use the God-given gifts and talents and abilities I have just as much as I have weaknesses in places that you have strengths. Yeah. And then you can use my, you know what I mean? And I could use yours.
And thus, the Life We Chose podcast.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead. Drop it on them. Drop it on them. Yeah, drop it on them. We're going to talk about it. But it's hard. I know it's hard to ask people for help. Yeah. Right. But it's like when I talk about using people, I am talking about getting help from them. Yeah. We're not talking about manipulation. We're not talking about any of that, which is why I said that there's kind of multiple angles from which I want to talk about this. Yeah. So now that we set the foundation, that we're talking about we as artists, we as entrepreneurs, we as human beings. All right. You need to find people around you who are going toward the path that you need to, having them assist you, and then you think of ways that you can assist them. You know what I mean?
Okay, so now that's the second half of it.
The second half.
When we're talking about being used, everybody's mindset, the reason why it feels so negative is because it's always this
one-way street.
Yeah.
That's why people talk about using as a negative thing. That's why manipulation is what it is. That's not what I'm talking about. If you're on a one-way street, you're selfish. Yeah. And you're also not going to get that far either way. Yeah. Because if you keep doing that to people, these people are going to talk to those people, and eventually your tower is going to come crumbling down. Exactly. It's only a matter of time, right? What I am referring to, second angle, is something we call relationships of reciprocity. Right? Okay. Which is mean if you had you give energy and you get energy. Yeah. That is how you find balance. If you do not have that in a relationship, whether you want to call it using them or manipulation or whatever, if you don't have balance in a relationship, one of you two is going to get fed up with the other. Yeah. One of you two is going to get fed up with the other. How many friends you got that I don't know, you go out to dinner and they always broke. You know what I'm saying? And you always got to cover their side of the thing. If it's not balanced,
after a while, it's going to be I'm getting a few less invites.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's not about whether or not I love you. Yeah. It's not about whether or not I care or concerned, but it's the fact that it's I'm putting in energy. Where are you going to return my energy? Yeah. That's how and that's the kind of universe we're going to be living in. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring it to the podcast was because I've actually been through some scenarios recently, right? Where, I had somebody ask me to do a show. Right. Yeah. Somebody reached out and was like, hey, we got a show coming up. It's going to be super awesome. We want the poet to be main stage. You're going to have a 45-minute set. And, it's going to be really awesome. We're kicking off this series. Yeah. Will you do it? Right. And I was like, oh, wow, that's incredible. You know, I'm excited about performing again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've been wanting to work with this curator for some time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, absolutely. What's the fee? How much you paying me? Yeah. What you mean? Like, I thought it was off the love. You know what I mean? I was like, off the love. I was like, you know what? When I got, we was texting.
Yeah.
It's like, it's off the love. So I was like, all right, you know what? You don't got bread. You know what I mean? I know times is hard. Things is going on, economy, inflation, those things are happening. So my response was, all right, well, you know, you own the venue. So let me get some space. You know what I'm saying? I'll come do the show.
Yeah.
And then you get me a date in the venue so I could host my own show. You know what I mean? And sell some tickets. Maybe I get the recoup back and we do something like that. I never got a response back.
Wow.
Right? I never got a response back. And it's cool. You know what I mean? I don't have any, I don't hold any animosity.
Any weight or anything.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, I don't have any animosity. But the thing is that like that was it. It's helpful now in my adulthood because we didn't do that in high school.
Yeah.
All the shows that we did for free, all the shows that we paid
to do.
All them shows that we paid to do and then got nothing in return.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing in return. How many times we went out to New York City?
Yeah.
So now it's like we got to shut that off. You know, we got to shut that off because it's a changing of guard now.
Yeah.
Now we're going into reciprocity. Now that situation with me trying to get that show, it brought up a conversation between us about bartering.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you remember when we did when we were trying to get the suits?
Yeah.
When we were trying to get suits?
Yeah.
So I want you to tell that story to the people.
So I can't even think.
I don't even remember
what
why we needed suits.
Yeah,
I think it was CBS.
It was some sort of event that we were preparing for. I think it was the CBS event. Yeah. And we needed suits for that event. We wanted to get, dressed up and
custom.
We needed it customized because the suits, at the end of the day, I'm a little small. I'm not fitting the men's the way I want to. By the way, we need a stud suit center.
Androgynous clothing, apparel.
If y'all know where they at, drop them down. Because we're looking for them. But for sure. And so we needed them customized. Respectfully, I did not know how much it cost for custom suits. But even still, that being said, they dropped the number on us and we like, oh, that's a little intense.
Yeah, they saw it in our faces.
It was like, whoa. But, rather than just hitting them with the, oh, well, can I get it for this or whatever? We immediately tapped into, okay, what skills do we have? What problems do you have? What can we exchange with you so that we can kind of come to some mutual agreement where we can receive the thing we want and you can walk away with something as well. And so in conversation, and that's another thing, have a conversation with people. Don't get into your bag of like, well, I just need it can you just pass me a little? Can you hold me up? No. Get into conversation and really start to understand what this person's needs are.
What do you need? And how can you fill that need?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so in having that conversation with him, we realized that, he needed marketing work. He needed some, videos for commercials.
New website,
photos. The website just was a little unorganized, and he wanted to upgrade that space. And so if this is the place that we're in, the marketing space that we're in, and photos, I'm using my skill sets as a bartering tool to say, hey, you have this skill set that I need. And I'm not well at. I have this skill set that you need. Let's exchange, and let's find a way where, they have a similar or equal value and we can kind of make this thing work. But like, and ultimately when we went into the finals of it, I don't know how did it work out? Because I have the suit. I do have the suit, but I don't think we we went into it. But what I did do was create a pitch deck. So not only did we have that conversation, went back home, created a pitch deck, came back to him. We set up a meeting, came back to him with that deck, And, you know, he was really impressed
Yeah,
with
blown
it.
away.
He was like, wow, like, I didn't expect you to take the time and you know, reading through it and understanding the different things that he would be getting in exchange for, you know, this service. It was like, oh, you really, like, took the time to cater to my needs because, you know, like, that what I offer and what I have is just as valuable as what it is that you have. So it's not like you were just trying to throw something out there that was like, oh, well, you know, let's just do this. No, it was like I considered his needs and really came up with something that would be of use to him. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about bartering.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. And it's like for anyone who's listening, who's going, particularly because we are in creative careers and we don't have a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? I don't got a lot of bread.
And that's one thing that, like, I feel like we need to be more honest about. Like, just in general, like, it's understandable if you don't have the bread.
Yeah,
you know,
I stuttered at it a little bit too. You heard me when I was just like,
it's hard for us to say because, you know, and that's always something that I've dealt with on both sides too, being an artist and understanding, yo, I ain't got it like that. But then also being on the other side of being a filmmaker and understanding, but I'm shooting like that.
But I got,
you know? So like, and I think that even came up to a that was one of the reasons why I could understand like the need for artists, but then there's also this lack of wanting to contribute in any other way, you know? And offer any other service, you know, like I know artists who are engineers. I know artists who are like, or even if it's not a skill that's you know, necessarily in that realm, like maybe I need a stylist for something. We're like, what skill sets do you have in art, outside of art, that you could contribute to my life in a way that it could exchange without saying, well, could you just do it for free this time?
Yeah.
Could you just, you know, because in some senses, that's like really just kind of taking the thing that we do and saying, I understand it's like, you know, you nice with it, but I'm not willing to pay. You know, it's like I don't value it that much.
I don't exactly. Say it again.
I don't value it that much. Yeah. And so I feel like, you know, we need to start. I'm trying to think, you know, because there's two thoughts. I feel like there's this space of like really not understanding how to properly exchange with each other, but then artists or, you know, just anybody who lacks a barter also lacks an eye for the value in the thing that they're requesting of a person.
Okay.
And I think that that's something I gotta think about, but I think that is something.
There's something in there.
I feel like it was just happening as I was talking, and I'm like, I feel like there's something in that too.
Yeah.
Because it's also like you can't see the value in it enough to really want to pay for it.
Yeah. And that tells me a lot.
Yeah.
It tells me something, you know?
Yeah.
And because of that, that's why it's like it affects the way that I look at relationships, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not just the reason why I feel like we're maturing in that sense is because you don't always have to give me money. Money is great. Money is great. But I am always willing to barter with somebody. Right? I am always willing to barter. You know what I mean? Because I actually respect the idea that if somebody came up to me and was like, I don't have money, but I see that, you know, you haven't posted on social a lot. I'll do social media videos or whatever. Or if I go to do a performance, they may say, like, because we did that for Verses and Vibes. I couldn't pay the performers. It was a free show. Yeah. But we were together and it was like, but we'll get you an entire media package. Yeah. And then I'll sit down with you for a half hour to talk about social media strategy. Yeah. I'll offer my time, my energy.
My knowledge.
My knowledge. Because even if you may say to yourself, like, oh, I don't want that, I want money. I'm still willing to give you something. Exactly. Because I look at what you're doing as valuable. Exactly. You know, your time, your energy, your craft, all that stuff. Exactly. So, and that's like, if the listeners who are listening to this podcast, if they're going after something, you know, whether it's business, creative, or even in the corporate world, like we undervalue the exchange of goods and services instead of money. We undervalue it because we don't think people want like that, but we don't realize that we want the money to buy goods and services.
Exactly.
Ooh, you see what I'm saying? Like, what? That's
Hold up.
Why are we
Yo,
skip the
it was like,
middleman?
nah, give me the money so I could go buy this engineering. Wait, but I engineer.
We don't realize it.
Yeah. We want the money to buy the goods and services.
Exactly. That's what we're going to use the money for. You know what I mean? So like, you know, anybody who's, particularly if they're in the thing, like if you're looking for that skill, you know, it's about having the conversation. And of course, we can have another topic, you know, we could say for another topic about how do you go about pitching somebody? How do you go? Because it's not, we've made a pitch deck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We made a pitch deck.
Yeah.
But at its real foundation, right? At its real foundation, if you want to grow and establish a relationship of reciprocity,
Yeah.
you need to find out who is this person and what do they need.
Yeah.
And then find a way that, like, there is something that they need that you offer.
Yeah.
Something. If you believe that what you have is of value, even if it's my
Exactly.
words.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's probably the bigger thing then. It's people not realizing their value. Because if you can't see your own value in anything that you bring to the table, then you feel like whatever you or have to offer outside of money just isn't worth it. It isn't worth the topic of debate. It isn't worth the conversation. I'm not worth it. So it is only money. And that's a much deeper thing.
You stinging.
That's a much deeper thing.
You stinging.
And you know what? And I'm not even gonna pretend like, you know, that's me pointing the finger. I've felt that way.
Yeah.
At times, I've felt that way plenty of times, and it's like I'm not even gonna ask you because I don't have the bread for it right now. You know, there's been moments where I just like all the skills that I know I possess, and I'm still like, I don't know if it's enough for you. You know. You know, so like I've been in these moments of existence where I felt like I didn't have what that person would possibly need.
Yeah.
But what I've also learned as I've grown out of that is that it does require a little bit of creative thinking.
It does.
It's beyond what you see surface level. It's building that relationship, having that conversation, and really getting to the root of the thing that someone needs. Because it could be that, yes, you know, that person does know how to do it. You've seen them do it a bunch of times, but damn, I just don't have the time today. I'm doing this, I'm running over there. Like if I just had somebody to help me run the show for 2 seconds, I just need somebody, 2 seconds. Boom.
Boom.
Opportunity. Opportunity. Just be there.
Yeah, call it by its name.
Just be there.
Call it by its name. Call it by its name. Just be there. Show up.
Yeah.
Show up. You know what I mean? Like,
it's not always a job description. It's not always, it's just like, yo, I don't have the time right now.
Yeah. I don't even believe in job descriptions anymore. I don't even believe in them things no more. I got pitch decks and proposals.
Yo.
You know what I mean? I'm ready to negotiate, you know? But like that's, you know, but that comes, you know, and that's why we want to have these conversations, because this comes from so many times of us going to places and getting no's.
Yeah.
So many places and getting rejections. Quick story. And you'll remember this one. Because I remember, because we did this all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like, you know, we keeping that energy up because I'm about to do it next week. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm about to do this thing next week.
Okay.
You know, I'm about to go to an office and they don't know I'm coming.
Let's go ahead and do it.
I'm about to pop up in the office. Hello, hi, my name is Queen of Bergen. Pleasure. I'm here to talk to the executive director. But there was we had to be, I don't know, like 21, 22 years old or something like that. And we was talking, we was like, oh yo, we wanted to get signed with the label. We was like, yeah, we got to get a record label. It's time. You know what I mean? The world ain't ready for mental league. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was going to do it. So I ended up finding a very small record label that was like a subsidiary of like Sony Music or something. They had just started. They were like, you know, so since they just started, they weren't looking for artists.
Yeah.
But in my mind, they're fresh. They're starting. You know what I mean? We just go there with a pitch deck.
Yeah.
We show them all the great things that we could do, and we could at least get a part of the label, right? So mind you, this is in New York City, right? If you in Jersey, traveling from New Jersey to New York City is a $200 trip. It's an hour and a half long. You know what I mean? So we get to the Sony Music Building.
Yeah.
Portfolio in hand. Buttoned up shirt all the way to the top.
To the top.
We waddled our way right up to the security
Hi, how
desk.
are you doing?
And we said, hello, we are here to see Miss Blah Blah. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. Right, and in front of us, he picks up the phone, and we're standing there, chest out. He picks up the phone, and he's like, yeah, so they're here to, oh, okay. All right, well, they're not available today. I was like, oh, all right, well, no problem. You know, just let them know that we came by. And we walked right out of the building. We walked right out of the building. We spent $100 and something and 2 hours of our life just to walk up to that man for him to say no. You know what I'm saying? And there's a level to it where it's like we kept doing that over and over and over.
Yeah.
Because the more you try to negotiate, the more you try to get into like these spaces, you have to like, shout out to Charlemagne the God, because, you know, this title was just like to my heart. Opportunity comes to those who create it.
Yeah.
And we are creatives.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, just because we pulling up on the end of the episode, this is like, I got, The book that I'm going to be recommending is Opportunity Comes to Those Who Create It.
Yeah.
Charlemagne the God.
Nice.
Right? I read that book a few times, right? And fun story for you is that I met Charlemagne about 3 or 4 times in my career, right?
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't have money, right? But I really wanted him to like see my poetry, see my content, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So the moment he had released his second book, Shook Ones,
Yeah.
I wrote a poem. You shot it.
Yeah.
Right? You shot the poem or whatever, because
Yeah.
what does a book need? Marketing.
Yeah.
He was looking for promos. He was looking for people. He was reposting people who was like, you know, reading his book out in the trees or whatever.
Exactly.
So I wrote a poem about the book. He reposted it, followed me, and ever since then, whenever I see him, it's always love.
Yeah.
Sign all my copies of the book and all that. But it's like, it's crazy how we only see opportunity when there is a paycheck attached to it. You know, that was one of his quotes in the book. That was one of the guiding factors behind it, is that people typically only see opportunity when there's a paycheck attached to it. But we don't realize that the true value of what we need is in the goods and services and not just the money. Ooh, right? It's not just the money. Because if we want to take it, like, if we want to get like meta with it,
yeah.
you know, back in the 90s, CDs were a really big thing.
Yeah.
You CD-ROMs, discs. I don't know if you're, you know what I mean? If you're in the 2000s, you're probably like, what? CD-ROMs, discs. And what did the music industry learn? That it wasn't the disc that was important.
Yeah.
It was the end result. It was the music.
Yeah.
And then streaming takes off. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't, we think the value is in that tangible thing.
Yeah.
But we're not looking at what the end result is. So if you're trying to have, you know, a relationship with me, you got to come with something. You got to give me some energy, because the thing about it too is that I value myself.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to pour energy into other people. You know, so you should definitely check out that book.
Nice.
Opportunity Comes to Those Who Create It. Charlemagne the God.
Dope. All right, folks, this is the shout out part of the section where we want to give a nice shout out to somebody who's deep in the community, contributing, and we just spoke about them. You know, we have B. Nathaniel Bespoke. This is actually the owner of the suit clothing
the suit
store
shop that we were talking
we
about.
stepped into. Just want to personally say from my end that we appreciate everything that you did for us, as far as you know, listening to our pitch and being open and willing to actually want to exchange and seeing the value in that exchange. It kind of just solidified some of the things we thought and feel in this episode.
Yeah.
Did you have anything?
Yeah, that was like I don't know if he remembers it, right?
Yeah.
I hope
it was
that we
such a
left an
core
impression.
memory for us.
It was such a core memory, and I think that's the reason why we wanted to shout you out.
Yeah.
Because we want you to know how it changed foundationally how we move about in our relationships.
Yeah.
Because we were almost taken aback by how bartering was an option.
Yeah.
Because we were so scared about paying so much, you know what I mean? And you know, ultimately it didn't work out, right? So I'm not going to tell anybody to go there and try to like,
but,
you know, barter for the suits. But I thought it, you know, it really, it really made a difference in our development as we were like thinking about how to go after these pitches, these proposals, and figuring out what our value was. That, listen, we have more to offer than just money.
Yeah.
And that really meant a lot to us. So
exactly.
We want to really shout you out just because it's like, years later, we're still talking about this story. So it's like, shout out to you. Thank you very much. And this is Your Flowers. As we wrap up this episode, you already know we have to talk about the 3 things that we're going to be doing this week to make sure that we are growing our brain, our body, and our business. Okay. Ooh. So I'm gonna start off by saying that I am reading a book right now. Audible has been heavy in rotation, and I'm actually reading a book about like hydroponics and things like that. So I'm souped about it because I think that it's a DIY thing I want to get into because I know recently you grew some grass.
I grew some
You
grass.
grew some grass.
Yes, I did.
And I'm not gonna hold you. I was kind of jealous. You out here creating life. So I was like, I need to learn how to grow some grass. I was like, let me look at some microgreens. So I'm reading about like hydroponics and how to grow stuff inside in my apartment. Yeah. So I'm gonna do that for my brain. Also just so that I have like a little bit of an activity to do. Because sometimes you get kind of scatterbrained about a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
For my body, it's getting colder outside. Mm-hmm. So these runs have been kind of rough on the soul. Oh. I have been doing the 12-3-3. What is that? Where you go on the treadmill and you incline 3.
Oh, okay, come down.
12-3-30.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So 3 miles per hour, 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting up there using the knees and stuff like that, and then I rotate between leg and arm days. So that's what I'm doing for my body.
Okay.
And for my business, I'm actually doing an SEO course.
Okay.
Search engine optimization. I am interested.
We'd love to hear it.
Yes. Not only just for, I'm thinking about the brands that I want to grow in the future and also with this podcast.
Yeah.
But the real thing about us being able to reach our audience is for our ability of being discovered. I hope I said that sentence right. But our discoverability is the thing that is going to help us reach our audience. And the way for us to do that is to use keywords, to use research, to find competitive analysis. So I'm going to be looking into SEO just so that I'm able to kind of get the reach further in my businesses. And I feel like that'll help in so many different places in my life.
Ooh,
yeah.
Ooh, I love it. All right. So for my 3 Bs, I'm actually trying to pull up the name of the book that I'm currently on. So for my brain, I've been reading as well. And I've been listening to this book called Get Good with Money by Tiffany Alicia. I think I'm saying her last name correctly. Anybody who listens to her or sees her anywhere else, she is Miss Budgetnista. So she is teaching us about our money, how to get it right, how to keep it moving, how to grow it, all of those things. And I think, as we kind of shift into these different parts of our lives, with me having entered the world of insurance and understanding how that works in my network, and also just us trying to build and develop the podcast, just want to get a better understanding of how to set the foundation for money in my life personally and as we are building this business. I'm about halfway through the book so far, and it's been teaching a lot of really, really good nuggets for, money management, how to get started with, looking at your money and self-evaluating and just being in a space where it's like, yes, it's hard. Yes, we got some mountains to climb, but girl, it's all right. I really love her energy on it, and she breaks it down in a way that's very digestible. So that is what I'm doing for my brain, trying to get my money habits right. For my body, I'm gonna get into stretching. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like, even like before workouts or anything, like I don't often stretch. And or even just like you wake up or you moving around the day and you're feeling a little stiff, like I don't stretch enough. Yeah. And so I want to get into stretching a little bit more.
Such an underrated activity.
It really is. I know it feels mundane. It really does, because you're not like
Yeah, we used to be rubber bands.
Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, and I felt it this morning. I was walking up that hill and my leg beat me there. I'm telling you, I don't know how I feel about that. I want to get into stretching. That's brain, body, and business. Yeah, like you said, we're talking about the pod, man. The pod is the business. We're continuing to grow and see how we can further develop this thing. I'm looking on the back end as well, some of the things that we can kind of discuss. I've been jumping into like podcasts, trying to figure out where these meetups are with podcasters.
Yeah.
Because I want to know what they're doing as well to, beef up what it is that they're going on. And just also continuing to understand how to develop this community, because I think that what we want to do is really just create an authentic space that people can feel comfortable being in. And I just want to do that, properly and grow that, from the heart. So I think that's what we are doing for the business. We are just trying to find ways to find tribe and, continue to push these narratives and these stories out and connect with you guys. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're here to, relationships really help the world rotate.
Yeah.
And we hope that this episode helped somebody out there kind of either evaluate the relationships that you have in your life, or even think about ways that you can use your skills to grow your network. So that you can, keep going after the things that you're looking for. So really appreciate every single one of you all for tuning in.
Yeah.
If you are listening on any audio streaming platform, 5 stars, please. You feel me? Get that organic reach popping. If you're on YouTube, please let us know what you are going to be doing this week for your brain, your body, and your business.
Yes.
And you can find all of the books that we talked about today in the YouTube description, as well as Nathaniel Bespoke's Instagram, so you can follow him on social. And you can also follow us on social too. Life We Chose Pod.
Love y'all.
Peace.
Yeah, this is the life that we chose. All about goals, all about getting the go. Pedal the